are live on Facebook. So hello and happy, what day is it?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. I totally forgot what day it is. We're like 6 months through the year, 7 months. We got a little bit longer to go because it's been one fascinating year. And by popular demand, we had 2 other webinars with Jackie Kravitz, who I'm going to introduce. And the 2 webinars were basically both the same topics on how to master FSBOs and what the mind of a FSBO is. And the way that you can look those up is we can put the links in here, as well as literally just pull up YouTube and search FSBO Jackie Kravitz. And you're
go on the YouTube channel, right? Lab Coat Agents. It's easier to find it right there.
Yeah. Either one. So I know that there were so many comments that we got in regards to some of the ones saying like this was the best webinar that they've had all year, and that has to do with because Jackie is so transparent and amazing, and I am so happy to have you back, Jackie.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back. Thank you. Thank you.
So Jackie is in the same area that I am in as well, in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. And she's been in the business for about 24 years, since 1996. Her and my mom were actually in the same office together. And she started her business as an actual FSBO, meaning she didn't have her real estate license. She started as a for sale by owner. And then she realized, like, why am I doing this on my own? Let me get my real estate license. So she went and got her real estate license and sold your first house, right?
That's the story. Yes.
So now Jackie is the owner of SalesXTraining, which we will go into some more details too and leave the link for you. If you really want to master FSBOs or expireds or expireds, you need to be checking out SalesXTraining, because anybody that's able to learn from Jackie, she is going to pour into you like crazy. So I'm excited for you guys, for the ones that want to sign up, because it's going to be great. So today we're going to go over scripts and role plays on exactly before the phone call to get the FSBO appointment. We're going to go over what the actual preview appointment sounds like, and maybe create a problem presentation around that. And we also will be going over the most common objections that we get. So Jackie, before we jump into kind of the role play and scripts for that, yes. What would you say is kind of like the summary, like the mind of a FSBO that we talked about on the other calls, but how would you describe and a recap of the mind of a FSBO?
Okay, so for sale by owners are 99.9% of them, or 100% of them, they're selling on their own to save the commission. That's it. That is the reason why. And so what does that mean? They think they can sell the property for the same price that real estate agents can sell it for. They think they could do all of the work or just have an attorney look over the paperwork or whatever, and they will end up with the same results as if they would have hired an agent. That's what they think. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I love about this conversation and really getting into how they're thinking is, I actually agree. A for sale by owner, when they look at what the average real estate agent does, no wonder they think they could do the same. They don't know what great agents do. All they see is, okay, well, they put the house in the multiple listing service, they put it on hundreds of websites, put a sign there, do some open houses, get some professional photos. I could do all of that myself. I could even put it in the multiple listing for a flat fee, let's say, pay $500, put it in the MLS, or I can hire a discount agent. They're all the same. From their perspective, they're looking at it, they're thinking every agent is the same. They all do the same things, and they don't do anything that I couldn't do. And who better than me that know my house really well to show it, to negotiate? You know, they're thinking they got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And you know what? Based on, I'm not putting them down, okay? I'm just gonna say it the way that it's coming in my head right now. Based on their limited perception, the limited amount of information, and looking at the average agent, they're right. They're right. And so what we talked about, I think it was last time, Tara, is FSBOs have problems. They just don't know they have them. And the problems, I think we went through this real quick, but I'll recap because this is huge for the agents to really understand the mind of a FSBO. They think they got it all figured out, and yet they have problems. What problems? Lack of exposure, exposure on the property. They are dealing with bargain hunters. They're dealing with unqualified buyers. They have no negotiating skills. There's legal liability, and then there's safety and security. Those are some of the problems. There are more, but these are some problems that definitely cost them money. So going back to the lack of exposure, because that's always the first one you would bring up. According to NAR in 2019, 93% of the homes sold in the United States were sold by an agent. 93% were agent-assisted sales, which means that as a for sale by owner, if 93% of buyers are buying from an agent, for sale by owners are only attracting 7% of the buyers on the market. That is the limited exposure right there. Yeah. And why is it that such a huge percentage of buyers, why do 93% of buyers buy from agents? It's very simple. Buyers don't pay commission, sellers do. So when you think about it, what's going to motivate a buyer to pass up all of the services of a licensed professional real estate agent and go directly to a FSBO? Save money. That's a big reason why they sell for less, because more exposure equals more money. The supply and demand, more demand equals more money. And on their own, they're not able to attract 100% of the buyers. In a nutshell, those problems cost them money. And as real estate agents, we can solve those problems for them. We just got to figure out how to, present this in a way that they start to not directly say, well, you got this problem and that's not going to work for you. Not like that. We just got to, through some scripts and dialogues and evidence, help them to start see, I could see how, this is not going to work. Yeah, they're thinking to themselves as you're sharing information, they start to realize they have problems. And then we solve the problems for them, and that's how we list them.
One of my favorite things that we were talking about and going over last week is the amount of confidence and conviction that you have, I think this is what it all boils down to. Knowing that they sincerely have a problem and you sincerely can fix the problem. You have to truly believe. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jackie, besides you being so tenacious and just awesome and mastering the scripts, you truly, to your core, feel that you have the solution to their problems and you want to help them because you're a problem solver.
And thank you for saying that, Tara, for bringing that up, actually, because what you just said is more important than any script, than anything you say, because how do we convince someone of something that we don't believe in?
Yeah.
Not possible. And so believing, and by the way, 24 years ago when I got a real estate license, I didn't believe it. I had no clue, right? So this is like you work on it, you educate yourself, you practice, you role play, you listen to people that know more than you do. And over time, you start to really understand the logic behind what you're saying. And once you believe it, you become unstoppable. In the beginning, when you don't quite believe it, because that's how it starts. Okay, well, Jackie said I should say this. Okay, I'll say it, but you're not really that confident. So it's okay. The results are not going to be great, but you're still going to be, in most cases, if you say the right things. And you know what? Confidence, sometimes I talk to agents, right? Because I've been coaching and training for so many years. They say, well, I'm really not confident because, I just started all this. I never heard any of this. Fake it till you make it.
That was my next question. Do we just fake it till we make it?
Exactly. You have to, because what's your option? You're going to talk to them and sound like you have no confidence? Like, yeah, that's not going to be very helpful, especially because for anyone that's ever called FSBOs, they are very confident about what they're doing. They think they got it all figured out. And so every call, right? Or even if you go to the call or door, every contact, it's one of two things will happen. Either you will convince them that meeting with you is going to be worth their time. At least they need to hear what you have to say, or they will convince you that they're not interested. Because they're selling the house. They don't have an agent yet. So it's not like, oh, do they want to sell it? No, the house is for sale. So who's gonna, I remember there's a saying that I love, and this applies to every FSBO that we talk to. Someone is always selling someone something. Either they're gonna sell me or I'm gonna sell them. And it's really based on who's more confident. And if I'm not confident about what I'm doing, I listed FSBOs my first year in real estate. It just took a lot of follow-up and it took them just basically getting tired about what they were doing. It took them to figure out that what I'm doing doesn't work, and then they hired me. Whereas now, later, within 3-4 years, I started to really understand the value that I bring, how really they have problems. They just don't know they have them.
And that comes down to not only understanding the scripts, right? It's having the confidence that you can solve the problem for their lack of exposure, for the bargain hunters that are going to be knocking on their door, for the fact that they're going to have legal and liability issues, and and the safety issues as well, just to name a few. So when you truly believe deep down that you can help solve a problem for them, I think that's where the confidence comes in, and the rest of it, the scripts and the role play and the objection handlers, because they have the same objections every single time. So you're like hearing them. So it's not like you need to study 100 objection handlers. You just need to know a basic 3 or 5, right?
I don't know. I don't think there's more than 5. Every for sale by owner, they'll say the same thing. And expireds too. There's like a handful of objections. And if you start to make a list, right? If you just call FSBOs and you make a list of all the objections, you'll make a list of 20, but then you start looking at it and you say, well, this one and this one's like, it's the same. They're just saying it differently, but they're saying the same thing in a different way. It's all the same. And actually figuring out that the objections that I was hearing right when I first started, they're all the same. That was a huge motivator for me, Sarah, because I remember thinking, wow, yeah, it's like, I keep calling, the living definition of insanity. I know FSBOs are hot prospects, and I'm going to call them, and I keep calling them every day. I hear the same thing, and I have no clue what to say. I'm like, oh no, you don't want to pay a commission. I went through that for months, maybe even a year or more before I said, wait a minute, I could figure this thing out. If I really work on this, I could figure it out, because doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, right? Like if I cry and say, oh, please, that's not going to help. So I just gotta learn what to say here. But yeah, objections are the same. They're always the same.
I love that. And I know we're about to get everybody into some role play. And again, for those just jumping on, the part 1 and part 2 series of this one, you guys can find back on the LCA YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or you want us to role play an objection handler, just use the chat box. And Jackie, I guess what it comes down to, besides having the confidence and really studying your scripts, because of the different times that we're in regards to COVID-19, do you feel like the conversation is any different from getting the appointment to to preview to listing now versus before?
I don't. Now, having said that, I don't. The COVID-19, the situation we're living through and everybody's going through, we have, when we speak with a FSBO or an expired or anyone else, we gotta instill confidence in them that we can handle this, that there are not gonna be any health situations. We can handle it in a way that they're safe, their health is protected, and there are going to be no issues. And it's the same thing about having the confidence, because think about it. They're for sale by owner right now. They're selling on their own. What are they doing? They're just letting come. And the safety and security, I always had that on the list of problems. And it used to be just letting complete strangers walk through your house, having no idea who they are. Now we got COVID-19 added to that, right? Like, what? Hello, it's like, I mean, talk about having problems, right? And so as real estate agents, we have to offer solution to all of these problems, including the COVID-19 problem. We have the solution. We know how to bring in buyers safely. We can virtually show the property. We can handle everything. And that's the confidence that they need from us. So it is a little bit different. And at the same time, anyone who's selling the house on their own, they may have a secondary reason as to why they're selling on their own. The main reason is save money. So that conversation about they have problems that cost them money, that doesn't change. COVID-19 doesn't change that, except I believe that now they need a great real estate agent more than ever before. They always have, they just don't know it, but now even more.
Definitely. And so what I'm hearing you say is it's not only the confidence within yourself, it's also our goal is to have, not convince them, show them that they have confidence in us to be able to get the job done and solve their problems because they have a problem.
Absolutely. 100%.
So let's get the appointment.
Alrighty.
Ready.
Okay, I'm going to call you, okay? And actually, we'll role play the script, the initial opening line, Tara, later if you have any questions about that, because it is different than, I guess, what most other trainers and companies are using out there. And the opening line and how I'm going to role play this with you is word for word exactly what I used to say. And I know it still works because every now and then I pick up the phone and call some FSBOs. So same thing. Okay. So you ready?
Ready.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, is this Tara?
Yes, it is.
Tara, this is Jackie. I'm a local real estate agent. I noticed that you have your home for sale. It looks like you're selling it yourself, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I decided to give you a call, Tara, because I work with a lot of buyers and sellers in our area, and I'm just calling to see how things are working out for you. Tara, I lost you. I can't hear you. Okay.
Can't hear you yet.
We'll be right back. Just when we start role playing. It's okay.
Can't hear you yet.
Sorry, everyone. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Yes,
Anywhere.
please be patient. Don't we
Yeah,
love technology?
Technology, you know, things happen. They happen to me sometimes, so.
Thank you for your patience. Just one moment, guys. Sorry about that.
Tara might have got disconnected, so she'll probably be back in just a sec.
Let me see if I put my glasses and I see what they're writing on the chat. 5 objections, okay.
Yeah, Jackie, if you'd like to answer any other questions
Yeah,
they're
let me see if
asking.
If I find some questions, I'd be happy to answer. Quick question based COVID-19. Oh, this is from a webinar yesterday. Hi, nice to see you. Same here. Answer questions while we wait. Yes, type up a question. I'll answer.
Jackie, somebody is asking, what are Jackie's 5 objections?
I'm not sure what that question exactly means.
That's from Bonita Watson.
Okay, let me, I'm not sure exactly what the question is. Let me just talk about some of the main objections that we hear from FSBOs and how do we handle those objections over the phone so we can set an appointment. I don't want to pay a commission. I don't want to list with an agent. I can sell it myself. I have a friend in real estate. FSBOs have more friends in real estate than anybody else. Maybe I sold on my own before. You know, those are some of the main ones. You can count on, I don't want to pay a commission. I could sell it myself, and I don't want to list with an agent. Count on those. And when I say count on them is expect that you will hear those, because that's important too from a mindset perspective, because then when they say it, you don't get kind of, you know, shook up, like not knowing what to say. Now, just interrupt Tara when you're ready, okay? And we'll keep role playing. Are you ready?
Yep, ready.
Oh, she's back.
I'm back.
Really started. Okay, so you can give me all of those objections and we will role play.
Yeah,
right.
we'll do the initial, the preview, and then we'll do the at the appointment at the preview, and then obviously objections through that.
Okay, so we're gonna start over, okay? Because I just started the first line. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, is this Tara?
Speaking.
Hey, Tara, this is Jackie. I'm a local real estate agent. I noticed that you have your house for sale. It looks like you're selling it yourself, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I decided to give you a call because I work with a lot of buyers and sellers here in our area, Tara, and I'm just calling to see how things are working out for you.
I mean, it's going. We have lots of interest. Everybody just loves my home.
Wow, good for you. Actually, I did see some pictures online. Looks like a beautiful home, so I'm not surprised. It sounds like you're getting some activity. You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, for the most part. Do you have a buyer?
Actually, like I said, Tara, I work with a lot of buyers and sellers at all times. I can't quite say that I have a buyer for your property right now. And just let me ask you, Tara, is saving the commission the main reason why you decided to sell the house on your own instead of using an agent?
Yeah, I have to save the commission. And, you know, I've already sold FSBOs before and it was successful. So I'm just doing it again.
Absolutely. And obviously you've sold on your own before, so you know what you're doing. And I actually like speaking with people like you, Tara, because you know the process and you understand what it takes to get the house sold, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And here's what I'm thinking, Tara. If I can show you a way where I can work with you in the sale of this property and you would end up netting more money by working with me than selling it on your own, especially in today's market. Is that something you might be interested in looking at?
I mean, yeah, but how are you actually really going to be able to do that?
That's a great question. And that's exactly why, Tara, I'd like to set up a 20-minute meeting. We can meet over Zoom on a video conference. I could send you the information. And in that 20-minute meeting, I'll share with you what is it that I do that would actually benefit you financially. Do you have 20 minutes for a meeting, say maybe 3 o'clock today? Would 4 work better?
Oh, you know, I got to speak with my wife. You know, she has to be here too. And, you know, we just have a lot going on. I have a bunch of showings today as well.
Oh, good for you. So you're definitely getting a lot of activity, and you want to make sure that you check with your wife so you're both on the same page, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking, Tara. Why don't we just have your wife kind of trust you on this? It's only a 20-minute meeting, and I am confident that even if you decide to continue to sell it on your own, after our meeting, you're going to have a lot of great information that will help you moving forward in the sale of your property. So what would you say? Would 3 o'clock work for the two of you today, or would 4 be better?
Can I just give you a call back?
Of course, yes, absolutely. And I'm sure you have my number. I could also text it to you when we're done. And Tara, here's what I'm thinking, and I'm just curious, is your wife on the same page with you in terms of selling the property? I mean, regardless of whether you sell it on your own or who you sell it for, you're going to sell the home. Is that correct?
Yeah, but she just kind of wears the pants.
I understand that. So here's what I'm thinking, Tara. Why don't we pencil in a time for the three of us to chat for just 20 minutes? And we're going to do it on Zoom, so it's really easy. And you speak with her. You let her know that you talked to this great agent. You said just a 20-minute meeting. And if for any reason you need to reschedule or change anything, you text me back. We'll go ahead and move it. Otherwise, we'll have you already set for, say, would 4 o'clock be a good time today for the two of you?
Yeah, we could do 4 o'clock, but I already have an offer that's coming on the way. So
Wow.
If I have that offer, do you still think that we should chat for 20 minutes?
Well, yeah, you know why, Tara? Because first, you said it's on the way, so you haven't received the offer. You don't know the price, the terms, all of that. And ultimately, if there was a better way for you to get this home sold, Tara, and walk away with more money, wouldn't you at least want to know about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this meeting is about. Let me give you all of the information and how it would help you, how it would benefit you financially. And then at the end of our meeting, you could decide what's best for yourself. So
Okay.
what do you say? Would 3 o'clock be good, or would 4 o'clock be better?
Let's do 4 o'clock.
Okay, great. Look forward to seeing you at 4 o'clock.
I like that. And role play on that one. So one of the questions Sadie Bob had was if they have an offer.
Okay.
What do we say if they say we have an offer? And obviously you just handled that. And if they legitimately already had an offer, then the conversation, does that turn into, are you asking the terms of that offer?
That would be a different conversation. You said you have an offer on the way, so you haven't received it yet.
So right now we have an offer on the table, and we're thinking about it.
Right. So let's talk about the different options of where you would go if they say they have an offer. And this is from firsthand experience, because Tara, maybe you were probably too young in the early 2000s in Broward County. The market was so hot. I mean, what you're saying, I'm getting a lot of activity. I have a few showings today. I'm waiting for an offer. I used to hear that all the time because we had very little inventory and everyone thought they could sell on their own. And what I know to be true, when FSBOs say they have an offer, they don't always, what they consider an offer and what we consider an offer are two completely different things. Okay? I mean, really. So if they say, I have an offer, you specifically said you're waiting for one. If they say, oh, I have an offer already, I would ask, first you repeat and approve. You have an offer. Oh my gosh, good for you. Wow, that's incredible. Tara, have you already signed the offer? I mean, is it fully signed? That would be the first question.
We didn't sign it yet.
So if you say I haven't signed it yet, my next question would be, and have you already come to an agreement in regards to the price, or are you still in the process of negotiating?
We're still in the process of negotiating.
Okay, I understand. And sometimes the negotiations go back and forth a few times, right, Tara? So here's what I propose. Since you haven't signed the offer yet, you haven't agreed on the price and terms, Tara, let me come by and meet with you. Now I keep going. I don't change direction at all, but I do want to know. Now, if they say, oh yeah, no, I already signed it. They don't understand the language of fully executed, but let's say, they have a fully executed contract. Then what I would ask, and I actually used to do this, I would say, congratulations, Tara, good for you. So if you don't mind, just a couple of quick questions. Can I help you buy a home here in the area?
I mean, yeah, I mean, we've been looking online.
Excellent. So you started looking online and you don't have an agent yet. So that's where you would want to go to see if there's a potential buyer here. And then my next question is, and Tara, what is your closing date? I want to know.
September.
So now what I found also when the market was hot, and this depends, so if you say my closing is, I don't know, September 15th, right? So I make a note of that. And if and when I were to run out of new FSBOs, new expireds, and some recently old expireds to call, I would follow up on that. Only if I run out of the hot prospects, which are the newer ones, and some of the recent expireds. Because what I also found from personal experience, and I know a lot of agents I've coached, same thing, a lot of for sale by owner contracts that are fully executed fall apart. So just even if it is signed, it doesn't mean it's a done deal and you should throw that lead away. Because again, when you run out of new ones, it would be worth a call back. Typically, sometimes within 2 or 3 weeks of this conversation, they have an inspection period. It could be an appraisal issue. It could be the buyer didn't qualify, didn't get approved. There's obviously, we know as real estate agents, all the reasons why deals fall apart. But that happens very often to these FSBOs. So then there's another opportunity there.
That makes sense. So let's go to the Zoom call. It's essentially just like a preview. It works. So this same conversation is had in person or it's had via Zoom, right?
Same conversation in person or on Zoom. Now, just looking at the time that we have, and I know we leave a few minutes for questions in the end, I will give you the beginning of this conversation, okay? When you get it, when you first start this meeting, whether it's on Zoom or in person, how do we approach it? Because remember, the problems, right, that we talked about, lack of exposure, bargain hunters. So in the beginning of this conversation, that's how I'm gonna start, okay? Okay. And then we'll see how far we can go with the time that we have, okay? And by the way, Tara, as we role play this, if you have questions, things come up and you just,
Okay.
I don't want this to just be a lecture, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I'm monitoring the chats too to see what are questions. I know there's a few that have asked and those are going to be done during the role play.
Okay, cool. So let's say we're on Zoom now, right? And, oh, hey, Tara, thank you so much for the opportunity to meet with you for 20 minutes. I really appreciate it. And I know that when we spoke earlier today, you told me that you're doing really well on the sale of this property. You're getting a lot of activity. You said you're expecting an offer. So that makes it even more, again, I'm just grateful that you're willing to talk to me for 20 minutes. And I know that when we spoke, Tara, I mentioned to you that I feel very confident that I would be able to benefit you financially in the sale of the home. And I know you said, well, I don't know how that's possible. And so if it's okay with you, I'd like to start our meeting today. Just being able to go over some of that information so you could actually see how I would be able to benefit you. Would that be okay?
Yes, please.
All right. And so, Tara, I don't know if you're familiar with this. I would imagine probably not, because obviously I know you said you sold some homes or at least one other home on your own before, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And at the same time, you're not a full-time, you're not a real estate agent. You're just looking to sell your property for the most money possible in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle. Is that fair to say?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're familiar with this information. Have you ever heard, Tara, about the National Association of Realtors?
I mean, I know they have one of those things.
Yeah. Well, you might have seen they have some ads running on TV every now and then. I don't know if you've ever seen them. Anyway, the National Association of Realtors, they've been around for decades. And what they do is they study homes and prices so that they could provide helpful information for the public, for homeowners like you, buyers and sellers, and some real estate information also for realtors. And what they do, Tara, is every year they publish a report. Yes?
Yeah.
And in 2019, they published this report called The Profile of Buyers and Sellers. And one of the things that they determined based on the study last year is that nationwide, Tara, last year, for sale by owners, the ones that successfully sold, and there were a percentage of homes that were sold for sale by owner, they sold for 28% less than the agent-assisted sales. Were you familiar with that information?
No, why would they sell for that much less?
Yeah, great question. And that's the reason why I bring it up, Tara. There are a lot of reasons why. And one of the reasons, one of them, and I wanted to go over this information with you so you can kind of paint a picture of how home sales are happening out there. You're probably familiar with the law of supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of supply right now.
Yeah, there's not a lot of supply right now. You're right. And see, the law of supply and demand, Tara, says, and I'm sure you would agree with me, that the more demand that we can create for any product or service that we're looking to sell, more demand will get us more money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, when you think about it, more demand equals more money is true whether you're selling a house, selling a car, or selling a pair of shoes. It's all the same, right? More demand equals more money. And so here's one of the challenges and one of the reasons why, Tara, as we said, for sale by owners end up with so much less than the agent-assisted sales. Also, last year, think about this, of the millions of properties that were sold nationwide in 2019, Tara, 93% of all of those homes sold, they were actually sold by a real estate agent. Did you know that information?
No, I didn't, but how does that pour more money in my pocket?
Well, well, not yet. Back to the supply and demand, right? So think about it this way. 93% of all the homes sold nationwide are sold by agents. And what that means, Tara, is that in selling on your own, you're only attracting that 7% of the buyers on the market that are not working with an agent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So now, you want to sell your home for the most money possible, right?
I have to.
Absolutely. I mean, why would you want to sell it for less than you can sell it for? So when you think about it, since more demand equals more money, wouldn't you agree, Tara, that in order to get your home sold for top market price, we need to attract 100% of the buyers on the market?
Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Phone's ringing a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hear you. And by the way, the phone ringing and the buyers coming in, that's the first step, right, to finding a buyer. And yet, you would agree with me that 100% exposure equals top market price. Would you agree?
Yeah. But I mean, the whole reason we just don't want to pay the commission.
I understand completely, Tara. Just follow this thought with me real quick. You want to sell it for top market price. To get top market price, we need 100% exposure. And as a for sale by owner, historically, it's not just 2019, only 7% of buyers are actually buying directly from a homeowner. So 100% exposure gives us top market price. 7% exposure, Tara, gives us how much?
Well, a little bit less, but I mean, would you be willing to completely reduce your commission if we did decide to hire you?
Yeah, Tara, unfortunately, the commission is 6%. And I want to share with you what is it that I do to earn that 6% commission. Now, follow along with me here. So that 7% exposure, Tara, in your opinion, since we know more demand equals more money, you said a little bit less. How much less do you think on average that limited exposure would be able to get you?
I don't know. I never really thought of it like that. Yeah. But I mean, my house is so great, so there's no way I'm going to get less.
Yeah, no, your home is absolutely beautiful. And I want you to consider this, Tara. The number one reason why 93% of buyers are using agents, right? Because 93% of buyers, they're going to an agent. The number one reason is because buyers don't pay a commission to a real estate agent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, just in your situation right now, you're selling the home. So the commission that we agree on, a percentage of that commission goes to the buyer's agent. So it doesn't cost anything for the buyer to use all of the services of a licensed professional agent, right?
Yeah.
All free. So Tara, when you think about that, what's going to motivate a buyer to pass all of that up and come directly to you as a for sale by owner?
Well, I'm hoping it's the fact that I have gold. I mean, it's just such a great house.
Yeah, it is a beautiful home. And at the same time, Tara, when you think about the fact that a buyer can walk into any real estate office. An agent will do all the research, thousands of properties, take them out, show homes, negotiate the offer, do all of it until they get to the closing table, and all of it is free.
I mean, we thought about it, but we had a really bad experience with another agent. So, and then since we tried it on our own and we did it, we are willing to pay a buyer's agent. So if you want to bring a buyer, that's great.
And by the way, Tara, let me just not say something else and not acknowledge what you said. I heard you say you had a bad experience with a real estate agent.
Correct.
And I understand that. I am a real estate agent and I deal with other agents every single day, and I have some bad experiences with them too, because unfortunately, a lot of agents, they're working part-time. They don't have the knowledge and the experience that is required to get homes sold for top market price in a short amount of time and be able to provide a great experience for homeowners, buyers, and sellers out there. ultimately, Tara, you want to sell the home for the most money possible, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and I know you mentioned that you're getting a lot of activity, you're getting a lot of calls from buyers, and that's great. And I want to ask you, Tara, since we know that the services of a buyer's agent are free to the buyers, other than obviously you have a beautiful home, like you said, you have gold, right? And at the same time, right, if the 93% of buyers are working with agents, how are they gonna find your property since agents don't have access to your property, with the exception of a few agents that have called you, right? So when you think about it, the buyers that are coming directly to you, they know you're not paying a real estate commission, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they know, yeah, that there's no agent representing you in this transaction. So what do you think motivates that buyer to actually go through all of the work on their own of researching, looking at properties, having to negotiate directly with a buyer when they could use an agent for free? It does make sense that they would be looking to save money, doesn't it?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well, and see, here's the challenge, Tara. The commission that you're looking to save, it's the same commission the buyers are looking to save, because they know you're not paying an agent, and they feel like they can take advantage of the fact that you're not paying an agent and be able to buy the home for less. In a nutshell, Tara, that's one of the main reasons why for sale by owners last year sold for 28% less. Now, you have a beautiful, beautiful home, Tara. Why would you want to sell it in a second-class manner?
Ooh, I like that. Well, I mean, I know that I'm able to pay the buyer's agent, so I'm not going to let anybody take advantage of me.
Yeah, well, and you know what? I have no doubt about that, because you're a tough lady and you're a very smart person. So I know that you wouldn't give your home away. I mean, what is the point of that, right? If you're not able to find a buyer that's gonna pay you top market price, I would imagine you're just not gonna sell it, right?
Well, I mean, really, if we don't get our price, we're just not in a hurry, and we'll just wait until next season.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the advantage, Tara, of working with an agent like myself. Let me just tell you a couple of quick things. When you hire me to sell your property, Tara, I am not gonna sit around and wait for buyers to call me, because I mean, you're doing an amazing job, by the way. I saw the pictures that you have online. I mean, they look incredible. It sounds like you understand the importance of exposure, because you told me you have the home on hundreds of websites. You're doing open houses. You understand how important it is to get a lot of activity. And yet, when you think about it, Tara, with all that you're doing, at this point, you got to kind of sit around and wait for the phone to ring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, I don't work that way, Tara. When you hire me to sell this property for you, I actually spend 3 hours a day on the phone, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. until noon. And I do what I call prospecting, looking for buyers for my listings and looking for more sellers as well. And here's the bottom line, Tara. You and I both know there is a buyer for your home out there. My job is to go find them, not wait for them to find me. I am going to be out there every single day until I find a buyer that will be willing to pay top market price for your home. And can I share with you the best part about all of this?
Please.
I don't get paid until your home is sold and you get your money at the closing table. So Tara, You have absolutely nothing to lose by hiring me to represent you, because unless I bring you an offer at a price that you're willing to accept, and I take care of every detail until we close, I'm working for free. Sounds like a great deal, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm just a little hesitant.
Yeah. Tara, if you don't mind me asking, what's causing the hesitation on your part?
Just really want to be able to see if we can save that 3%, and just kind of do it on our own. And we just want to wait a little bit longer to see if we can do it, because like I said, we're willing to pay a buyer's agent. So you could bring a buyer over and we'll pay that 3%, no problem.
Yeah, and I hear you, Tara, and I completely understand, especially in your situation. You're looking at it thinking, I'm not in any kind of hurry. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
What do you have to lose? And see, Tara, and again, I would imagine you haven't considered this information because you're not a full-time real estate agent. A lot of the properties, Tara, that in our current market, the ones that end up selling for less money are the ones that sit on the market week after week after week. Because see, here's what happens, Tara. Listings don't have a shelf life. And what I mean by that is, the longer your home sits on the market unsold, the more buyers start to wonder, it looks like a beautiful home. Something must be wrong with this property. Why haven't anybody bought it yet? And this is an actual thing that happens out there. Maybe you've even been on the other side of this equation where you're buying a property and you see it sitting on the market. Have you noticed that the best properties, they go on the market and they sell right away?
I mean, yeah, when they're really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and when you have the right agent that can market your home aggressively, especially in this market, Tara, a lot of homes are getting multiple offers. There are homes even getting dozens of offers right away. Why? Maximizing the demand. And that's exactly what I can do for you now. I can't promise you multiple offers, but what I can promise you, Tara, is when you hire me to sell this property for you, we will find you a buyer in a short period of time, and we'll get your home sold for the highest possible price. That's what matters for you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Could you sell it and guarantee that you can sell it for me in 30 days?
You know, I would love to say yes to that, Tara. And at the same time, my average time on the market happens to be 25 days. Some homes sell in 2 weeks, some take 2 months, and occasionally it might take a little bit longer. In the end, Tara, getting the most money possible in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle. That's the most important thing for you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
That's
I want to save as much money as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about it, Tara, I am going to be negotiating on your behalf, and I am going to make sure that we get every penny out of your property. You're not going to be dealing directly with a buyer that knows you're not paying a commission, that's looking for a deal. I mean, that's the main reason why nationwide FSBOs sell for so much less, Tara. And again, like I said, best part about all of this, I'm working for free unless I bring you an offer that you're happy with. Can't get any better than that, right?
No, not really.
So why don't we do this, Tara? Let's go over the market analysis that I prepared for your property. So I can get to work. We could agree on a price, on the highest price we could sell it for. And I'll go to work for you, find you the buyer, and take away all of this all of the showings and all of this stuff. I'll take care of everything for you. We'll get you the most money and we can go to work. How does that sound?
I'm willing to give it a try.
All right, so let's go. Tara, before our meeting today, I actually emailed you the market analysis. If you don't mind opening that up so we can go through that information together, so we can come up with the highest price we could sell the property for. We're not going to go into that right now, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Just for time's sake. When they and great role play, by the way, when you're going through the price, if you don't agree with their price, but they're like super stuck on it, if you don't agree with the price, are you just going through your price handling objections, or are you waiting till you kind of meet them in person? Or you're just showing them the value where you came up with that number?
Couple of things about price real quick. My goal on a Zoom presentation like this, I send you the market analysis ahead of time. I send you the listing agreement, electronic signature, because my goal is to be able to go over the market analysis right now, agree on a price, and have you type it in the listing agreement and electronically sign, and I'm done.
And you're also assuming the sale by sending that over to them in advance. It's like in your pre-listing package, you're already assuming the sale because you're like, here's a listing agreement. Oh, by the way, it's inbox sign.
Absolutely. Yes. Now, I've talked to a lot of real estate agents recently that tell me they're going on actual listing appointments. They're going to people's homes. So if you're going in the house, well, great. Then you, again, when you walk into a listing appointment, if you're in the house, you got to have the listing agreement with you completely filled out. The only thing that's blank is the price. So then when we agree, okay, Tara, great, we're going to price it at $4.99. I'm writing it down. I turn that over, I hand them the pen, and I ask you to sign. So over Zoom, it's a little bit different, but the end result is the same. You have to always you got to ask for the signature. You're not going to, not very likely to get it if you don't ask. And regarding price, here's how I look at it. Our job as great agents is to educate them in what the price needs to be. And we educate them by providing evidence. So the market analysis, a well-prepared market analysis, that's evidence of what's on the market and what has recently sold. And also market conditions. Yeah, like how many homes are selling every month, how many homes are expiring, how many homes are currently for sale. Overall market conditions and the market analysis. So my goal, here's how I think about it. As a real estate agent, I can look at a market analysis, know the market conditions, see their home, and I know what it will sell for. Would you agree, Tara?
Yep.
My goal is to help them understand how I came to that conclusion. Because if we just tell them, well, you want $4.99, but it's worth $3.99. Now I'm on a battle with you. You're trying to defend the $4.99 to me. And no, let's look at this together. Let me educate them so you can come to the same conclusion that I come to. And if you end up in an ideal world, we would never take an overpriced listing, right? Everybody would just see it and agree, and we price it right and we walk away. Real life doesn't always happen like that. You do your very best. You gotta judge at what point this is a waste of my time. It's their motivation and the price. It's a balance between the two. One of my favorite lines, and I'll leave it here. I don't know if you have some questions. If you're walking away from a listing and it's slightly overpriced, but the seller is really motivated and they're going to have to reduce the price, you could have them agree to a price reduction right now, and they could sign it, and in 2 weeks you can just change the price. And then, this is my favorite line, I would say, so Tara, we're putting it on the market at $4.99. And based on this information, all of the information that I shared with you, I think logically you can see that it probably should be at 369. And I know you want to try it a little bit higher just to see how we do. And I want to share some information with you that is critically important, because that way you're going to be able to gauge, even though I'm going to be calling you periodically to update you, you'll be able to gauge what's going on, Tara. Within this first week on the market, if we get 8 to 10 showings or more, and we get you an offer, obviously the market is telling us the price is right.
Yeah.
If we get 4 to 5 showings this first week and we don't get any offers, Tara, the market is telling us the property is probably about 5% overpriced. And if we get 1, 2 showings and no offers, it could be 10% or more overpriced. So I'm going to be watching all of this very closely. And I'm also going to be watching other homes right here in your area, Tara, because see, price is a moment in time. And what I mean by that is things can change very quickly based on what other homeowners decide to do with the prices of their home. See, even if we were, time out, let's say you take up a listing today at $499 and it's really well priced. You're like, oh my gosh, this thing is gonna sell within a week.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, one of the neighbors that was asking $529 decides to lower it to $475. Overnight, your listing is overpriced.
Totally.
So it's a moment in time, and they need to understand that, and you need to say that to them so that when you call them with an update, you know, the lack of showings, no showings, or whatever is going on with the competition in the area, they are expecting that conversation already. Because the biggest mistake you can make is take a listing that you know is overpriced and leave the seller thinking that you're going to be able to sell it. When you call back for a price reduction, they're going to chew your head off. So don't let that happen.
I love that. I actually write in the additional terms of listing agreement, 2 weeks and no showings, or 10 showings and no offer, price to be adjusted by X. So different price ranges, like the one I just took, I put $30,000 because it's a $900,000 listing.
Yes.
So it depends on whatever the price range is. Then I'll put by 5,000. And what I love about that is when I go to have that conversation, one, technically it's in the contract. I can do it. I can make the price adjustment. Yeah. And I try not to use the words reduction because I feel like it's negative, but price improvement or price adjustment. Like if I'm talking to an agent, I'll be like, yo, we have to reduce that price. But if I'm talking to a seller, I'm like, you know, let's improve the price and reposition your home on the market to attract a different set of buyers, possibly the right buyers. And by putting that in the additional comments, because that's what NAR has anyways as statistics. Yeah. And you explain that, it has caused me so much less headaches to not make those really awkward phone calls.
Oh my gosh. Like these calls to lower the price, that was my least favorite thing to do. Like real estate agents don't like calling FSBOs expired. I'm like, what? Like the one calls I hated were when they had to lower the price. Oh my God.
But I love if it's already in the contract. I'm like, remember when we discussed and we agreed on the fact that we're going to adjust the price by X in the contract? You know, now's the time. We're ready. It's that time.
With that big smile, they're like, yeah, let's lower the price. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's probably the only other time I've taken overpriced listings is if they 100% agree to do that. And if they feel that I just can't.
Yeah, and they need to be motivated. You know, the biggest challenge is an overpriced listing and an unmotivated seller. I mean, that's like a lose-lose situation. The problem too is that sometimes they lie to us about the motivation. Yeah, especially the people that don't know you. Like they're like, I'm not gonna tell you that I'm desperate to sell the house, because then that's gonna hurt me. So I'll keep playing cool and saying, no, I don't care. Like, really, you don't care? Like, who in the right state of mind put their house for sale and they don't care if they sell it? It's like, it makes no sense. But, you know, it takes skills too.
What are a few things that you would know, like, are indicators where you're like, you know what, I'm not taking this listing?
Lack of motivation. That's it. Other than that, you know, sometimes agent will say, well, you know, the property is not in good condition. And I get that. And, you know, it's in a bad location, or, you know, it's not going to sell. And I want you to write down this line, because this is really important. Price is the great equalizer. Price will solve any issues that a property may have.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's condition or location.
Agreed.
You price it accordingly, it will sell.
I just sold a house that I can't even believe I just sold. But what is the saying? There's a butt for every seat.
There is, for sure. Yeah. Or the something with the shoe and the foot, whatever. I mean, I've sold properties too that's like, I cannot even believe it. You know, they were like, I couldn't even walk in. I remember a property I sold, you know where it is, Tara, in Hollywood. I walk in and it's like they had boxes, like I couldn't even walk through the house. It was just the craziest. I sold it, I listed it and sold it. So there's a price for everything.
She had 32 cats and a dog named Kitty in the house. And she just let the cats roam free, and the walls had to be gutted from 6 feet under because of all the urine saturated in the wall.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even believe I sold that thing for
there you go.
full value too.
Yeah. You know what? Ideally, you could stage every property, but you know what? Sometimes that's not going to happen, and you're going to have to put it at a price that somebody will buy. So there's a price for everything.
Price is the great equalizer. I like that. And I believe that I also was able to answer all the questions. There is going to be Maria from Perez from Spain. She said, you know, amazing job, ladies. Thank you very much for sharing. Unfortunately, here in Spain, it's much more difficult as most of owners want to sell by themselves. And my response to her was, reach out to Jackie. Jackie has her own coaching program too. She's been coaching for over 15 years, right?
Yeah, been a long time.
SalesXTraining. We also put that in the group chat too. And yeah, just lots of feedback, just saying thank you. And they really got a lot from it. So if you guys are looking for additional training and additional help for scripts and role play, and Jackie, is there anything else that you would like to discuss of what SalesXTraining offers?
Tara, just real quick, go on SalesXTraining.com and check it out. This is a dream project for me. This is what agents have been asking for years and years. It's affordable to every agent. It's training every single day on everything that agents need, not only for FSBOs and Expireds. In the end, SalesXTraining is about learning how to sell. And FSBOs and Expireds happen to be tough prospects, but they're also the hottest ones out there. And when you master FSBOs and Expireds, everything else is easy. But, you know, it's everything. It's presentation, it's pricing, it's prospecting, setting appointments, the whole thing. And again, the model of this training company is so that any agent is able to join us, learn a ton, because every single day there's video training and live training, and they can start making more money, take more listings and make more money. That's it.
we want to take more listings and we totally want more money. So
absolutely. Hey, and in the process of doing that, we are helping homeowners, because guess what? If they don't hire us, they're going to end up in the hands of the average agent out there, and they don't know what they're doing, and they just keep giving real estate agents a bad reputation. So we actually have a responsibility.
Yeah, we do. We have definitely a responsibility. And I love my team, like our motto, just for us internally, is never problems, only solutions. And like, we are the solution providers. Our job is to help solve problems. And when it comes to the FSBOs Expireds, honestly, when it comes to any homeowner or buyer, we literally, it is our duty and our job to
100%.
help them solve their problems. And if you aren't a problem solver, then probably shouldn't be in the business.
I would agree with you 100%. Absolutely.
So SalesXTraining.com is the webinar. And for those that, Maria, we're so glad that you learned a lot. Amanda too, you learned a lot today. So we are very, very grateful that you guys joined us. Thank you, Nancy, too. And if you have any other questions, feel free. I totally suggest go to SalesXTraining.com and learn from the best in the business.
Thank you, Tara. You're such an angel. Enjoy your vacation.
I know. I'm going to go flamingo, shut off the phone, give everything to my team.
And thank you for everybody that took the time to actually come and join us today. I really appreciate it.
Me too. Thank you, Lab Coat Agents. We love you, and we'll talk to you soon.